We all love playing board games, right? They can be fun and they can also be educating. But it can also help speed up the green transition in cities. Well, can it? It's now my pleasure to introduce some wonderful people over here that will be able to talk more about this and also show us. It's a team from Skövde University that has, in collaboration with Mariestad again, created the climate game. So we have with us Edvin, Stockholm Sanne.
Yep.
We're going to take a seat here next to you. And we also have with us Iris Casado. And you're an illustrator and 2D artist from Skövde University. And in between you is Maria Gustafsson, who works with urban development in Mariestad. And you're setting up the game here, but maybe I could steal a moment from you, Edvin, first, so the other team here could set up the board. We're all curious now. Tell us about the game. What is it, and how do we play it?
The game is it's a board game in a Eurogame style, which some people might know. It's you play as different actors who try to compete to reduce pollution the most and gain the most victory points, which you get by reduce pollution and helping the city, which you can do in different ways by playing cards that do different things. These cards are like modeled after actual real-life projects that could be undertaken in Mariestad.
So you get victory points when you reduce pollution.
Yeah.
Excellent. So Iris, you've designed you designed it. So what are the challenges in terms of designing this board game?
Well, for me, perhaps the biggest challenge was that we chose a specific art style for this game, which is called solar punk. I don't know if any of you know what I'm talking about.
Solar
punk.
Solar punk. Yes.
Let's see. It's both an art style, but also like an activist movement that imagines a very sustainable future, very green, focused on renewable energy, especially solar power. And in general has a very positive vision of the future. It wants to show us that change is possible if we all work together. So the challenge was to take this art style and put it in the game in a way that fit the content, because Solarpunk also has a lot of science fiction in it, but we didn't want to have too much of that, because then it might feel unbelievable and people won't think that it's something that is possible to be done, maybe if we show, I don't know, like flying cars, for example. So I think for me the greatest challenge was to take this aesthetic and try to put it into a game that's perhaps a little more grounded in reality, but in a way that still shows positivity and a vision of the future that is possible.
So, Edvin and Iris, what is the age? I mean, when could you play the game? Is there a sort of a lower age bracket?
It depends on the person, I think.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, it's mostly for like teenagers and adults. This is the sort of family game you play with like 10-year-olds or something, generally, unless they really like board games, which fair. But I think that's also part of the charm or interesting part of the game, that when we have this bit older demographic, we can use more complex mechanics, which are very useful for explaining different things about climate change and how we can interact with it.
So refer back to what Susanne just said, we could be playing this in schools, right?
Yeah, we actually had a little test session when the game wasn't as finished. It's still in development, but it was an early stage. And we played with, I think it was 11, 12 years old children. And that was kind of the limit age-wise. Younger than that, it's probably too hard for them. But 12 up, especially if they have previous experience with board games, then the more you play, the easier it is to get into the game and understand how everything works, and then the more fun it is as well.
And board games in general have become increasingly popular the last years, globally, right?
Yep.
So normally when you play board game, there's one winner, but here many of us could be winners, right?
I mean, everyone is winner when you reduce pollution, but yeah, there is one winner game. But still, I mean, you all help the city, so that's good. And we are thinking about maybe having like a cooperative mode too, but right now the game is primarily designed to be one winner.
One winner, but basically, if you reduce your pollution, it's sort of a great feeling anyway. It's not Monopoly, like you lose that completely.
Yeah, because you don't work against each other in the same sense. And also, if you lose, you might want to replay it again and try a different strategy, which
So there's really, really big aspect of learning here. So Maria, how can this help Mariestad reduce emissions? Because that's how it all started, right? As a novel idea, again, from this municipality.
Yes, exactly. It's one of our work that we do in Viable Cities. We are one of 23 cities who will become climate neutral in Sweden. But this is about Mariestad. You can see the municipality of Mariestad in the board game. I think that's very good. And it also explains how complex it is to work with transition. And it also shows that we all need to work together, all different actors in the municipality and the citizens as well.
Terrific. So I'll leave you to it because I have a guest waiting for me here in the side of the stage. It is like this, that we always follow a leader, right? And Mariestad has been a small municipality, but thanks to its very big climate leadership, it's recently managed to land a huge land investment. So on that cue, we're going to talk about the transport sector. Terrific to have you on board on this stage. It's a great stage, isn't it?
It is.
It's
Thank you so much.
It's
degrees. And we think that utilizing the Science-Based Target Initiative has been very valuable for us because that has helped us in understanding how we can go from where we're at today together with a number of key customers all around the world. And I think the pace is increasing every day. So what is then our strategy to do this? And I think it's the best way to describe it is to look upon it from a value chain perspective. So if we start with that will be run on fossil-free fuels. Then if we move to the next part in the value chain, the second biggest source of emission, that's really the emissions that comes from material that we buy, that we put into our vehicles or components. And that's where the batteries comes in. So we have other types of materials like steel, aluminium, we have polymers, we have electronics, and then we have extensive localization study being done. So we looked into, I think, 10 different
there are many cities
places.
hoping, keeping their fingers crossed, yes.
Yes, but in the end, Mariestad won. And first we limited to Sweden, and we could say that we chose Sweden because of and that was chosen because of the cooling and processed water in Lake Vänern, but also, and I think that has been clear from the previous speakers.
And we'll be coming back to them shortly. So please come back on stage, Susanne Wallner from Mariestad, join us. And also on Zoom, we have Henrik Brodin, Head of Energy at Södra. He should be popping up any second here. Södra, there you are, Henrik, excellent. And Södra is one of Sweden's largest forest industry groups. You'll see if we can all see you here. Let's turn a little bit to the side here so we can look at you on the screen here. So Susanne, let's start turning back to you again. In this discussion on how to speed up the transition in the transport industry,
and I think that will be needed very much, and you need to have people that actually take on the lead. And last but not least, I also think that you talked about the need for many different types of solutions. It's not going to be one thing that fixes this. It's going to be different things. So I think
to get the speed going. Yeah.
Excellent, Susanne. Would you like to add something? You look like you wanted to add something, Karin. You're good.
I'm good.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Henrik. Thank you very much, Susanne. And thank you very much, Karin.
Thank you.
Thank you. Everything starts with the kids, right? We spoke about this already. And we know that our children are the best nudgers of green behavior related to parents and also grandparents. One hand, please. It's so wonderful to have a studio audience. We don't always have that, so it's always nice to get some warmth inviting the guests here. And let's have you step a little bit to the side so we can see Per Larssons. Wonderful to have you with us, Per.
City plans, not just kroners or euro. We have to include the other currencies, carbon, climate risk, and energy, of course, and also transportation.
So to turn waste into resources in small districts, but also in larger, even in countries and cities. And And let's now take a look at how the climate game is developing. How is it going here?
Yeah, it went pretty well.
Of course, everybody wants to know who's in the lead.
Well, we finished, but it is one.
I won.
Finished. You won. You finished already. Okay. So the learnings from this game, how will this help, and how can this create a carbon neutral, even climate positive Mariestad in the future? Well, what are you saying, Aris?
Yeah, it's a very good way to learn how everything is related to each other. For example, you have green energy, and then if you reduce green energy, if you increase green energy, you reduce pollution because you use, of course, alternative sources of energy. If you reduce traffic, you also reduce pollution. But then, of course, there's also challenges. For example, if there's some project that is more science-based, maybe you need to do some research before that, and that can take some years, for example.
Many learnings here.
Yes, well, Edwin can probably explain it better than I can.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to show how the systems interact and also like highlight why actors might do what they do, why you might like look for sponsors, because you can't just build 1,000 wind farms that cost a lot of money, and you need to highlight the challenges with transitioning to green energy and sustainable society.
So Maria, representing the municipality, what would you say are the biggest challenges for Mariestad when you play the game and you realize this is what we need to act on?
I think the main challenge is that we need to work together, and everybody needs to know that and really act like that. For example, here I played as a political party, but I did a lot of investment, and that was not so popular at the citizens. You need to help me. I think I got a lot of bad opinion. But sometimes you need to do that. You need to be a leader. You need to take care of the city.
Indeed. So for all of the people watching here online and in the studio, how can you get your hands on this game?
Well, it's not out yet. We're working on it. We are working on game balance, UI, well, not UI, but visual like explaining. And Iris is working on art. We have like 3 cards with game art, and then all of these cards should have art eventually. It takes a lot of time. So yeah, we're working on that, but hopefully sometime this fall.
This fall.
Yeah.
The climate game will be up this fall, and I'm sure we'll be able to share the information on the We Don't Have Time platform when you publish, and so we can start playing. I really want to play this. It looks fantastic. Well, thanks so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Although Mariestad has come a long way, this is really only the beginning. So let's now take a look. You have our full attention, Molly.
Thank you so much. I want to start by thanking you so much for being invited here today, me and my colleagues from Mariestad, and given the opportunity to participate in this great context. We appreciate that very much. And what they say is functioning public transport, very high on their list. Also be able to ride the bike through all the city, but also to create a lively city center so more people are attracted to shop and live and to stay in Mariestad. Greenery and the farmland. We want to offer outdoor life and simpler life that a smaller town brings. That is our unique selling point, and we have to keep that in our goal, such as oxygen and heat from the production of hydrogen at the filling station. And the study included analyzing various circular business models linked to residual products. Thinking circularity, now that we are facing many changes in Mariestad, we'll be able to create new business opportunities.
Thank you so much, Marlene. I fear, or maybe this is a good thing, that you will have a great influx of people wanting to move to Mariestad, but that might not be a problem.
I hope not. I'm sure that it doesn't.